Good morning. Welcome to the Morristown East High School Veterans Recognition titled A Salute to Veterans. My name is Caleb McKinney, and I'm a member of the Morristown East Speech and Debate team and one of your hosts for today's program. We are here to celebrate our veterans who have served our country so honorably over the years. Without further delay, let us welcome Jacob Lawson, Student Council President, to the podium to present the Pledge of Allegiance. At this time, please stand as our Air Force JROTC Color Guard presents our nation's colors.
At this time, would everyone please remain standing? Attention, salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning. My name is William Creech. I am a member of the Morristown East High School Speech and Debate team and one of your hosts for the program today. At the conclusion of our moment of silence, please remain standing for the national anthem. The Star-Spangled Banner will be performed by the Morristown East High School Advanced Choir and interpreted by students from the ASL 1 class. The Advanced Choir is under the direction of Mr. Coleman Lowry, and the ASL students are taught by Ms. Michelle Norman.
Present. Colors.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Order. Colors. Right turn. Arch. Forward. Arch.
Thank you. You may be seated. Sage Bolen is a first-year theater student and they have written a short speech titled, "What Veterans Day Means to Me." Sage's father is a U.S. Army veteran.
To me, Veterans Day stands for family and freedom. My family has a line of men and women who have served in the Army, like my father, who served in the U.S. Army, or my uncle, who served in multiple branches of the military. Yes, may have a deeper connection to Veterans Day simply because I was raised by a veteran, but it shouldn't stop others from respecting this holiday. These strangers who don't even know you risk their lives knowing they may not come home, all for our freedom. And I hope that despite all of our differences and connections, this could mean something. On this day, united in freedom.
We would like to honor the veterans within our school along with any veterans who are watching our program today. If you are a veteran in our audience, please stand to be recognized. We applaud these fine individuals for their service and sacrifice for our country. We would like to honor some of our staff here who have served in the military as well. Major Jim Thigpen, Mr. Tony Mail, Mr. Larry Wallace, Mr. Barry Pochran, Senior Joshua King, Mrs. Delyn Lejong McCash, Mr. Teddy Faxon, Mr. Jeffrey Isom, and any veterans who are in attendance today. Thank you for your service. I would now like to welcome Emma Sauls, a first-year speech and debate student, to share the history behind Veterans Day.
World War I officially ended when the Treaty of Versailles was signed on June 28, 1918. However, fighting ceased 7 months earlier when an armistice, or a temporary ceasefire, between the Allied nations and Germany went into effect on the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month. 101 years ago today, President Woodrow Wilson declared November 11, 1919, as the first commemoration of Armistice Day, with the following words: "To us in America, the reflections of Armistice Day will be filled with solemn pride in the heroism of those who died in the country's service and filled with gratitude for the victory, both because of the thing from which it has freed us and because of the opportunity it has given America to show her sympathy with peace and justice in the councils of the nation." To honor American veterans of all wars, in 1954, President Dwight D. Eisenhower changed the name of the holiday from Armistice Day to Veterans Day. As of this year, there are 17.4 million veterans in the United States. Veterans Day serves as a reminder that freedom isn't simply handed to us. Someone had to fight for it. Those 17.4 million had to fight for it, and a lot of brave men and women died for it. And for that, we are eternally grateful. Take today to recognize those who gave it all for our country and those who we are blessed to have with us today.
Thank you, Emma. America the Beautiful will be performed by the Morristown East Flute Quartet. Our Air Force JROTC cadets will be participating in the flag folding ceremony.
Meaning of the flag folding ceremony. The flag folding ceremony represents the same religious principles on which our great country was originally founded. The portion of the flag denoting honor is the canton of blue containing the stars representing states our veterans served in uniform. The canton field of blue dresses from left to right and is inverted only when draped as a pall on the casket of a veteran who has served our country honorably in uniform. The U.S. Armed Forces, at the ceremony of retreat, the flag is lowered, folded in a triangle fold, and kept under watch throughout the night as a tribute to our nation's honored dead. The next morning, it is brought out and at the ceremony of reveille, run aloft as a symbol of our belief in the resurrection of the body. Symbols for the folds of the flag. The first fold of our flag is a symbol of life. The second fold is a symbol of our belief in eternal life. The third fold is made in honor and remembrance of the veteran departing our ranks, and who gave a portion of his or her life for the defense of our country to attain peace throughout the world. The fourth fold represents our weaker nature. As American citizens, trusting in God, it is to Him we turn to in times of peace, as well as in times of war, for His divine guidance. The fifth fold is a tribute to our country, for in the words of Stephen Decatur, our country, in dealing with other countries, may she always be right, but it is still our country, right or wrong. The sixth fold is for where our hearts lie. It is with our heart that we pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The seventh fold is a tribute to our armed forces, for it is through the armed forces that we protect our country and our flag against all enemies, whether they be found within or without the boundaries of our republic. The eighth fold is a tribute to the one who entered into the valley of the shadow of death, that we might see the light of day, and to honor our mother, for whom it flies on Mother's Day. The ninth fold is a tribute to womanhood, for it has been through their faith, love, loyalty, and devotion that the character of the men and women who have made this country great have been molded. The 10th fold is a tribute to Father, for he too has given his sons and daughters for the defense of our country, since he or she was first born. The 11th fold, in the eyes of the Hebrew citizens, represents the lower portion of the seal of King David and King Solomon, and glorifies in their eyes the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. The 12th fold, in the eyes of a Christian citizen, represents an emblem of eternity, and glorifies in their eyes God the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. When the flag is completely folded, the stars are uppermost, reminding us of our national motto, "In God We Trust." After the flag is completely folded and tucked in, it has the appearance of a cocked hat, ever reminding us of the soldiers who served under General George Washington and the sailors and Marines who served under Captain John Paul Jones and were followed by their comrades and shipmates in the U.S. Armed Forces, preserving for us the rights, privileges, and freedoms we enjoy today.
John Lehman III, a first-year theater student, will present a short poem titled The Vigil. The poem's author, only known as Jr., dedicates this poem to those who guard the tomb of the unknown soldier and his cousin, SSG John Gallagher, U.S. Army Special Forces, killed in action January 5, 1968, in Vietnam. Located in Arlington National Cemetery, the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier is a monument dedicated to the U.S. service members whose remains have not been identified. Since 1948, this tomb has been guarded 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, without exception.
In measured steps he makes his rounds, the clicks of heels the only sound. He stands erect so straight and tall, with pride and dedication responds to the call. With deep affection his vigil keeps over those who forever sleep. He responds not to the visitor's stares, maintaining his vigil as if in silent prayer. In the morning's twilight hours his watch becomes like cathedral towers, reaching from earth to heaven above, a lasting tribute to one man's love. As time and seasons come and go, his vigil remains for all to know, that beneath the sacred Arlington sod lies three bodies known but to God.
Thank you, John. Mr. Al Ahern is a United States Marine veteran who served 2 tours of duty in Vietnam. In 1979, he moved to Morristown, developing software for government accounting. He is a spokesperson for We Honor Veterans, which is a partnership between the National Hospice and Palliative Care Organization and the Department of Veteran Affairs. He is currently serving on the Morristown City Council. Please give a warm welcome to veteran and City Council member, Mr. Al Ahern.
Good morning. Are you all planning your future? Any of you thinking about joining the military? I highly recommend the United States Marine Corps. Today is Veterans Day. We honor our veterans. What is a veteran? Well, historically, it was anybody that served in combat. Today, we honor anyone who wears a uniform as veterans. Do you know any veterans? Neighbor, friend, family? Great. When you see a veteran, you probably see him in the mall or Walmart or ball games, and they'll be wearing a Vietnam veteran hat or an Army badge on a vest or whatever they might be. Thank them for their service. That just might be the nicest thing they've heard all day. They gave their time and their talents and their lives for you and your freedom. Are you familiar with the Tally Ward Center across the street? Anybody been there? Great. Thank you for using that facility. That's a great facility for our city. Edward R. Tally and Calvin John Ward are both veterans of World War I. They're special because they were both from Morristown and they both received the Congressional Medal of Honor. Anybody know what the Congressional Medal of Honor is? Super. It's service and bravery above and beyond the call of duty. It's awarded by the Congress of the United States, and it's usually presented by the President of the United States. What it means is the recipient put his life on the line for his comrades, either to bring somebody back that's been wounded to safety under fire, or a show of bravery in battle, above and beyond the call of duty. We also have a Morristonian who's soon to retire from the Air Force, General Arnold Bunch. He's going to move back to Morristown after he retires. We have Major Thigpen and Senior Master Sergeant King, who are in charge of the ROTC here. And I congratulate them for their service. Major Thigpen, I know, served 29 years, and I know that Senior King served over 20 years. I served with a gentleman who is a true American warrior. We were in Vietnam together. His name is Tom Bolen. He got out of the Marine Corps, went to college, went back into the Army and retired as a colonel. He has the distinction of serving in conflict, every conflict between Vietnam and the time he retired. He has another distinction. He was the oldest soldier to ever qualify for Army Airborne. He was 56 years old when he made his first jump. He served 40 years in the military. I buried him at the National Cemetery in Fort Jackson, South Carolina in September. I'll always remember him, and I'll always miss him. We have our, excuse me, we have our junior ROTC here. I want to thank them for their service to our country and their plans for future service for our country. We owe them a debt of gratitude. There are only two defining forces that have ever offered to die for you. Jesus Christ died for your soul. the American soldier offered to die for your freedom. I want to share a personal note with you. When I was a senior in high school, March 5th, 1964, I went to the Federal Building in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, raised my right hand, and took the oath of military service. I promised to defend and protect the Constitution of the United States under enemies, foreign and domestic. And that oath has no expiration date. I still honor that oath. I'm a little old to serve in the military, but I would fight if I had to. I joined the Marine Corps because I wanted to get my service out of the way. I wanted to be an aeronautical engineer. And I knew that I probably wouldn't do as well in college because I was so young. And aeronautical engineering is a tough field. So I went in the military. The Marine Corps offered an aviation guarantee, and I thought that it would be great because I'd have the opportunity to work on aircraft. As I did, I went to Vietnam twice, loaded bombs, rockets, and missiles on airplanes and maintained the weapon system. We loaded 1 million pounds a month, about half of it by hand. Think about picking up 125 pounds, your end of a 250-pound bomb. I want to share a personal story with you. My wife likes this story. She asked me to tell it. I had a few weeks left in the Marine Corps and a few weeks left in Vietnam. And I was on duty that night, but I was sitting in a hut adjacent to mine, and we were watching TV. Now, Bonanza came on, a little black and white television. U.S. military has a way of taking their home comforts with them into combat. We were watching TV. There was a couple others in the hut with me. And Bonanza came on, and I had seen it before, so I decided I'd go to bed. I went and got my pack and my rifle and my ammo and headed down to an underground bunker that I was sleeping in at that time. And I woke a friend of mine up that was on duty. He and I only had a few weeks left in the service, and we were reminiscing about our time in the service and what we were going to do when we got out. About that time, we heard an explosion. We got up and went to investigate. A 5-inch Russian rocket went through the roof and right through the floor where I had been sitting only moments before. My hut was adjacent to that. There was shrapnel hit my bunk, and it was on fire. My mattress was literally on fire. If I'd have been in either place, I would have died that night or been severely wounded. My wife likes that story because the fact that I lived, I got to meet her. In the Marine Corps, we have a motto. It's Latin, Semper Fidelis. It means ever faithful, and we've shortened it to Semper Fi. When you see a veteran, please thank them for their service. God bless you, and Semper Fi.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Air Force JROTC Gold Valor Award is the highest award to any of the 130,000 Air Force JROTC cadets worldwide. This award requires critical evaluation and approval from Headquarters United States Air Force JROTC at Maxwell Air Force Base, Montgomery, Alabama. This award is very rare. An internet search revealed 6 documented cases of Air Force JROTC cadets receiving this honor since 2014. The Gold Valor Award recognizes a voluntary act of bravery and self-sacrifice involving conspicuous risk of life beyond call of duty. This medal is not the Medal of Honor, but is the similar for Air Force JROTC. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise as we present the Air Force JROTC Gold Valor Award to Morristown Hamlin Air Force JROTC Cadet Lieutenant Colby England. Attention to orders. Cadet Second Lieutenant Colby England distinguished himself on 16 July 2021, when without hesitation or thought of risk of life or limb, he responded to an accident as Youth Conservation Corps while assigned to Cherokee National Forest, United States National Forest Service, Tennessee. Cadet England displayed gallantry and courage by immediately following the chain of command and notifying his supervisor a fellow team member had flipped over a large service vehicle on a steep slope in the forest, requiring medical care. Cadet England then used loose gravel and sand to cover a fuel leak, which resulted in mitigating a dangerous fire hazard. Cadet England managed to stop the leak by utilizing improvised supplies on site, thereby neutralizing further threats of a forest fire. The crisis evolved even further when a black bear approached. Fortunately, Cadet England maintained composure of the situation. He jumped, shouted, and activated an air horn to deter the bear. The bear stomped multiple times, displaying aggression, then left the area. Cadet England's courageous actions on this day most certainly embody service before self above and beyond the call of duty and reflects great credit upon himself, Hamilton County Schools, and United States Air Force Junior ROTC program. Let's give Cadet England a round of applause.
Everyone, please stand as we honor our nation's fallen veterans with a presentation of taps. Taps will be performed by Morristown East Band member Landon Lake. We would like to thank the administration of Morristown East High School for allowing our fine arts programs, JROTC, and the ASL class to participate in this event for our veterans and school community today. Thank you to Mr. Joe Ely, Dr. Sarah Cooper, Mr. Brad Hall, and Mr. TJ Sewell for your support. We appreciate the hours spent by Mr. Tilley, Mr. Ezel, Mr. Lowry, Mrs. Rouse, Mrs. Stewart, Ms. Wexler, Mrs. Norman, Senior King, and Major Thickpin for their personal and class-level participation. Lastly, we would like to thank our honored guest, Mr. Al Ahern. Thank you for your service. This concludes the 2021 Veterans Day program.
Thank you, guys. You may be seated.